Let's check out the life of a turkey. Turkey breeding is not so easy. We've genetically modified turkeys to grow so fast and so large that natural breeding is no longer a viable option. The male would crush the female. So here's what we do. We like to shackle our male turkeys so they can't escape. We stimulate their genitals by hand until they produce semen. This semen is collected by a suction hose, which is often sucked using the worker's mouth.
I gotta put this in my mouth. Because this is how we're gonna suck the semen.
Whoa. What? What's this?
This is where I'm collecting the semen into.
Why is that in your mouth?
So it creates suction to get it into the jar.
You're gonna suck the semen out of the bird.
That's correct.
When we have the semen, we shackle the female too. She's maybe 8 months old at this point, and we'll do it about 100 times a year to make sure we get enough turkeys. We stimulate her by hand too and inject her with the semen. We want this turkey to lay as many eggs as possible. But sometimes our good intentions are in vain. Constant egg laying like this can lead to bloody prolapses, and their intestines being pushed out of their bodies, which are then dragged along the floor. There comes a time in a turkey's young life that they're no longer profitable. So we turn them into low-grade processed products like lunch meat. As for the eggs, we take them to hatcheries where baby turkeys are placed on a conveyor belt to separate their shells. It's quite high-tech, but some turkeys will get stuck in the machinery and be mangled. And injured baby turkeys are left to die in a bin or suffocated in a bin bag or maybe ground up alive in a macerator. Why would we keep an injured turkey, lose profits looking after it, when we have so many healthy ones to choose from? But in some ways you could argue they got off light, because those that survive get their back toes and their beaks mutilated without any painkillers. You know, that's just another expense we're not willing to pay for, but we will give them vaccines because they have to live in this filthy condition, right? I mean, we're not monsters. We cut off the beaks and the toes with hot blades or infrared lasers or, well, just scissors, you know, take it old school. And you know, really this is for the turkey's own good because they're in these cramped conditions and they can get aggressive with no stimulation. The demand for turkey can be quite high, so we try to house up to 25,000 of them together for 5 months, which, you know, is their entire life. They can live for 10 to 15 years in the wild, but I'm not willing to wait that long. Selective breeding has been a godsend. You see, farm turkeys are nearly double the weight that they were in the 60s, and they reach that weight in half the time. This is great for our profits and for the consumer's stomach. Like I said earlier, the turkeys grow so fast that they can't reproduce naturally, and they suffer from joint pain. Many turkeys can't even walk, it's a sight to see. But there are sometimes heart attacks and other illnesses, so we might find 1 or 2 dead ones which we'll just, we'll dispose of. At the end of their time on the farm, if you can call it a farm, the turkeys are forced into cages. And my workers, they're often quite rough. The turkeys will have broken hips or wings, but they're going to be killed soon anyway, so I'm not too bothered about that. Similarly, we're not going to waste profits on food or water on the way to the slaughterhouse. 1 or 2 might die, but it's just part of the business. When they get to the slaughterhouse, a vet will look them over to make sure they're all healthy and happy before we hang them up by their legs one by one and drag them through a water bath designed to stun the turkeys. So you see, this is why we can call our products ethical. The turkeys are stunned. Well, most of them are stunned. I mean, some of them will lift their necks and aren't sufficiently stunned, but, that's the turkey's fault. That's not our fault. Next on the conveyor belt is a rotating blade designed to slit the turkeys' necks. So even though some of these turkeys are still conscious, they see the blades coming, they see their brothers and sisters killed in front of them, the suffering isn't going to last long. For most of them. Maybe they were improperly cut. But don't worry, they won't be alive for long, because they're going to enter a scalding bath, designed to remove their feathers. So, some turkeys will be scalded alive, but that's just part of the job. Why not consider having a cruelty-free Christmas this year? There's no need to kill for a tradition. Some of you watching may be considering going vegan, but you might be apprehensive because you don't quite know what you're going to eat or where you're going to shop. So in the description I've put a link to Challenge 22. This is a place where you can join like-minded people in a group with a mentor who will help you to become a great vegan and have enjoyable food and make sure you're healthy. And if you're already vegan, it's time to get active. Every video I make, I put a small vegan action that you can complete right now in less than 5 minutes in the description, so take a look at that. And lastly, I really appreciate the support the past few weeks. This channel's been growing very quickly, so I'm very, very happy about that. And remember, the more interactions on a video, the more people are going to see it. So with that in mind, remember to like, remember to comment, remember to subscribe. I don't really care about self-promoting, but this is going to help us get the message out there. Thanks for watching.